Hi, this is Joe Kulas, Vanilla Arms. This is a little preview for the Surefire M83 rail system for the AK/Kalashnikov rifles. Whether it's an official or anything after Saiga, Romanian, Bulgarian, Inter-Ordnance, which I'm going to be showing it on here, it's going to fit any of those. That's the uniqueness of the Surefire M83. I'm going to start by showing you the little features I'm going to mention later on, so if you need to, you can report back to this reference. Alright, right here is going to be a little sling loop. That's where your little sling adapter is going to go through. Some guns will allow you to still use it. Some you might need to get a little under part to use your sling adapter still for the front. And then you're going to notice these little grooves on here. That is where the top rail is actually going to be coming. It's going to drop into, and it's going to slide forward. And with these little pins in the back, you tighten those, and then that pushes the top forward, and it locks into place via the back with a little hinge here, where your standard handguard would. And then on the top, it has this similar type mechanism there. You can kind of see that. And then also, like I was talking about, you have the little parts that go down. It's going to go down and it's going to lock forward. Alright, with that said, it's pretty simple setup. I'm going to show you how to do it here also on the Inter-Ordnance AK-47C. You're just going to pull back the bolt, make sure your gun's unloaded, and then you're going to start by this little switch right here. You're just going to push it in and then lift up on your upper plate. And you're going to set that to the side. And then you're also going to do the same with your spring. You're going to push back and lift up. And then you're just going to pull that out. Alright. Then you're going to do the same with your bolt. You're going to pull it back, and then in most AK-47s, unless you have a much cheaper, much less evolved one, which this will still work on, it's going to come right off the back. You can give it a nice little thrust, or you can pull all the way back and then lift up straight. And then it's just going to come out, and we'll set that to the side also. Alright, now for your handguard. I have one on the AK-47. This part little flops up here. You actually have to kind of nudge it off with a flat head or something similar, and then it deassembles from there. But on most, it has some sort of disassembly. All are maybe a little bit different depending on the manufacturer. I just suggest looking up on YouTube for your gun disassembly of the front forearm. That can better assist you. But anyways, you're going to have a little latch right here that you need to lift up. And it's usually very easy depending on your handguard. For the Inter-Ordnance, you're just going to use a flat head, kind of lift that up. And then you're also going to notice that right in between there's going to be little grooves, so if it's all the way forward or all the way backwards, it's not going to be able to lift up your gas tube properly. So what you're going to do is you're just going to kind of hold it up like at a 90-degree angle, and then you're going to use a flat head to gently pry your gas tube free. And then you're just going to set that to the side also. Alright, now once that's done, most of your front sling adapters will have a little bit of a latch there. You can see it jiggling a little bit there. You're just going to bring that forward, and then you should be able to bring your sling attachment forward, and your front handguard should easily come off, depending on your version of AK-47 that you do have. Might need a little bit of force there, and there's always a locking plate too, so when you put it back on, make sure you see it a little bit right there. That's where it's going to lock back into place. And then you should be able to bring it forward and then down. It comes right off just like that. Alright, and now it's stripped quite a bit here. And this is all you're going to do. You're going to bring your little sling part back, and then you're going to lock it into place. And then you're going to reattach your gas tube. Make sure it's also not bent or didn't get damaged. Make sure you just gently removed it, and it should work nice and easy. Alright. Readjust this a little bit. Alright, now you have your gas tube reinstalled, and this is where you start to assemble the M83 rail system. You're just going to slide it in with a little front sling loop right there. You're going to knock it down just a little bit if it's having some trouble. And then when you have the bottom on, make sure the little grooves go in there where your original handguard was. And then the top is going to go in those little grooves on the top part of the M83. And then you're going to slide it forward just a little bit. Alright, and then in the set includes, it's going to include the Allen wrench and the 2 screws that are needed. I already put the 2 screws in there most of the way, and you'll kind of know what I mean when you get yours in. But most of the way, and then I'm going to hand tighten it the rest. Now this part's going to take a little while, so you might want to just kind of do something else here, but you have a very little bit of rotation, so tightening it can actually take a little while here, which is the only unfortunate part. Try to tighten this more by hand a little bit. And also, if you do wish to, it's not needed. Right after you install your gas tube, you can put the rest of the gun back together before actually installing the rail, but I just suggest not to, so you don't have all that excess kind of here when you're trying to tighten it all up. It's a little bit nicer not to have any of that in the way. Alright, and you're actually going to want to do yourself a favor here. While you're tightening this up, you're going to want to switch back and forth from side to side for the actual tightening of it. It'll make it a little bit easier, and it's not going to put any more pressure on any of the screws in specific. So you may get a little annoyed while I'm doing this because it will take a little while. So and then all rifles are a little bit different, but you want to make sure that the little grooves on the rails actually met with the grooves of where the original handguard were. Otherwise, you're going to notice when you try using it, your rear and your front sights will not align. It's going to be either, because it's going to be the rails in the way, you're going to want to just loosen the screws and then retightening them. You might also want to do that before you actually start tightening them. You'll kind of know what I mean here, like I said, when you're actually dealing with it in person. You're going to be able to tell what I mean. So there's the tighten them, and then there's the tighten them so it fits to any style AK. And you'll be able to easily notice it. That's the only problem people have had while installing this, is that they don't make sure it lines up right. Because, like I said, it is meant to fit any AK-47 rifle out there, so it's going to be just a little different. Alright, now with that done, you can reassemble your little bolt here, little buffer there, and your top receiver plate. Alright, and you got the Surefire M83 ak-47 Pictionary rail. Whoops, do not do that. One of the reasons why I got some little bubble wrap here, or any type of nice flat surface. So all of it works good. Any other questions, just feel free to ask.